Hi, I'm Ricky Vaughn, and again, I want to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of this process in the selection of the next fire chief for Denton County ESD1. One of the many challenges facing fire departments across the DFW Metroplex is the fact that we all work in a very competitive market where everyone is trying to attract and retain firefighter paramedics. In fact, according to the Texas Commission on Fire Protection, there are over 150 fire departments in the North Texas area, all competing for the same resources and talent. Add to this the fact that Benton County, Collin County, and Tarrant County rank as one of the top 10 fastest growing counties in the U.S., where, according to the U.S. Census, DFW saw nearly 100,000 increase in population from 2020 to 2021. It is this increase in population that helps explain why fire departments across the Metroplex are all seeing significant increases in service demands, which in turn helps explain why we all need more firefighter paramedics. So, how does Denton County ESD1 attract and retain firefighters in such a competitive market? Well, first of all, as fire chief, one of my goals is to market our fire department by building a strong culture of pride and sense of belonging, where our firefighters can take pride in being part of something much bigger than themselves. Because by feeling part of something bigger than ourselves, it provides meaning and purpose and identity of being a part of a great organization. So, how do we do that? I think you build a culture where our members can feel like they are valued and appreciated, and they are recognized for their efforts, whether it be through swearing in ceremonies, promotions, or retirements, or just making routine calls and just doing something sporadic where we honor our members and respect them and show appreciation for what they do every day. Equally important, I think it's important that we build a culture of trust. Members in every organization want to have trust in their leadership and to know that they will be treated fairly. Also, it's important that we build a culture where they can feel emotionally invested, and we do that by providing them opportunities for personal and professional growth. Unfortunately, every fire department across the Metroplex is trying to build these types of cultures in order to incentivize and attract and retain firefighter paramedics. The good news is, I believe Denton County ESD1 is in a great position and has a great opportunity and will see significant growth in economic development and population, whereas some of the more cities with less opportunities for growth will be not as fortunate. I think this gives our members a sense of they're at the beginning of something great, that they're at the grassroots of being identified and taking pride in the fact that we will be a leading fire department in the Metroplex. When we talk about marketing our fire department in order to attract and retain firefighter paramedics, I think it's also important that we distinguish ourselves. How do we separate ourselves from the pack? How do we make ourselves different than everyone else? First, as fire chief, I think it's important that we not only scan the environments of the community we serve, but we also need to look internally and ask our members what attracts and retains them to our organization. Therefore, as fire chief, one of the first things I plan to do in the first 30 days is get out and go see all the firefighter paramedics at the fire stations and to build relationships and talk to them candidly about, what is it that you like about Denton County ESD1? What is it you dislike about the fire department? And what are some of the tangible and intangible things that we can do to help attract and retain our firefighter paramedics to our organization? So I think by asking our greatest resource, which is our personnel, I think we probably can get some innovative solutions to meet some of these demands. But I also think it's important that we, not only look internally, but we've also got to scan across the fire service and look at our neighbors and see what they're doing and how they are our competition. And I think we have to look see what they're doing as well. For example, in many of the conversations I've had with neighboring fire chiefs and assistant chiefs across the Metroplex, I believe there are some trends that we're all seeing. And some of those trends is the fact that the next generation of firefighters really value more work-life balance and really want more flexible schedules. I think that's something that attracts them as a benefit in deciding where they want to work. And I commend Denton County ESD 1 in the fact of them adopting the 4896 schedule. I know it's kind of somewhat controversial, but it really is a way that we can attract and retain firefighter paramedics to our organization. But I think we can look beyond that. I think I have some ideas myself. I think there's an idea I have about coming up with weekend trade days. Whereas, say, for instance, let's say a firefighter has a wedding to go on a Saturday in a few weeks. But this Saturday, I've got to hire overtime and we need somebody to work. Well, if they volunteer to work that day for free, then I could trade that day for a future day that they could be off that maybe is already full. There's already enough people off and they can't get off or get a sub. And so I think that's a creative way where we can create a win-win situation where I'm not paying overtime this week and I may or may not pay overtime when they decide they want to take off. Of course, such an idea, we'd have to look at our policies and procedures and how that work. For example, I think I would imagine with the department the size of Denton County ESD 1, they probably allow two, maybe three people off a day for vacation and holidays. So obviously, I think you probably could only allow maybe 2 to 3 boards to be able to do this. But again, it would allow some flexibility to give our members more opportunities to spend time with their family when maybe they couldn't get off. So I think that's the reality of the post-COVID world because, during COVID, many people were working from home. We all worked virtually. And so in today's environment, a lot of this new generation has friends and family that are not working in the office. And so I think looking for those flexible schedules, I think is a way that we can not only retain our members, but we can also attract new members to our organization. Another trend that we're seeing is the fact that, and I'm seeing this everywhere, everybody I talk to, is that there's less desire to work overtime. In fact, we are more than ever, we are forcing overtime more than I've ever seen. 10 years ago when I was a battalion chief, we hardly ever forced overtime. We just never really did. I mean, we have overtime, people sign up for it. We might force every now and then, but today I'll have 2 or 3 in a weekend. I mean, we'll have sometimes more than that. So it's a common trend that people value their work-life balance. They like work. They enjoy and they're engaged when they're here, but they also enjoy their time off. So I think we have to find ways to reduce that forced overtime and non-overtime in general. I think one of the things we do to accomplish this is something that Denton County ESD 1 has already done, and that's the utilizing part-time firefighters. I think we embrace that and we look at ways where, let's say there's a firefighter on a long-term injury, or maybe it's someone who just had a newborn baby and they just want to take some time off on FLMA. We can utilize those part-time firefighters to help fill those temporary gaps, and maybe even the areas where we have a service demands, where maybe we want to run a peak ambulance or something like that. But by having those part-time, we can take that burden off and give some opportunity for part-time firefighters to work, at the same time not forcing our firefighters to work overtime. In addition, I think we've also got to just look at innovative ways in terms of our tangible benefits, such as salaries. For instance, many fire departments across the Metroplex offer certification pays and other incentivized pays. So I think we have to look at that. I think there's some value in that. For instance, just having FTO pay for your paramedics, which really encourages them to take on more responsibility, get them engaged in being part of building our organization. What's better than mentoring new paramedics? That is a very valuable thing to do, and so we should incentivize that. The other benefits of that is, that's a flat fee, which has limited impact on cost of living raises. Where cost of living raises, you see a raise in your salary, but those certification pays will remain the same. In addition, I think there's a lot of departments out there giving bonuses, particularly in their first year. They're hiring and making them commit to a year or whatever, and they're signing bonuses. My experience, if you can keep a firefighter for at least 5 years, your chances of retaining them long term are much better. So I think we need to explore ways that we can incrementally give that bonus. In other words, give it half of it up front, maybe give another quarter of it at 3 years and another quarter at 5 years, to spread that out to help incentivize the retention, keeping them for that 5 years, to get them ingrained in our culture, get them where they're engaged and want to be a part of our organization. Again, while these and many other are tangible ways that we can to incentivize and attract and retain our members, I want to go back to what I really feel like is really important, and that is to really build a strong culture to where our members feel like they are part of something special. I think by doing that, you will really empower them not only to be more engaged, but they'll also be ambassadors for our department. And what better way to attract and retain than having people who love where they work going out and talking to their friends in the fire service and attracting them to our department, and knowing that they are part of a leading fire department in the Metroplex. So again, I think that is the key, is just building that culture, and I think we can do some really great things by doing that. So with that, I want to say thank you again. This has been interesting, and I look forward to the next phase of the process.